Jewish people at their farm during that time to keep them safe. I'm very proud of my Oma and Opa. After World War II, they came over to Canada. Anyways, I won't talk too much about that. However, if that's something that you would like me to talk about, if you wanna hear me kind of delve into things a little bit more, let me know. I'm just not sure if you guys want that or not. Anyways, Beatrice and Virgil. And there's a pair right here. I like how the pages are ruffled. They're textured. There we go. So let us begin. So I believe the section that I am wanting to read is somewhere about 40 pages in. So I'll just flip through them. Okay. So, because this book is also about a writer and a taxidermist, the sections in which Beatrice, who I believe is the donkey, though I have not read this for a very long time, and Virgil, which is the howler monkey, when they talk, the scenes, their story is written kind of like a play. You just see the lines like this. So, I will read this to you. I'll be careful not to bump the cord. So, Virgil and Beatrice are sitting at the foot of the tree. They are looking out blankly. Silence. Virgil. What I'd give for a pear. Beatrice. A pear. Virgil. Yes, a ripe and juicy one. Pause. Beatrice. I've never had a pear. Virgil. What? Beatrice. In fact, I don't think I've ever set eyes on one. Virgil. How is that possible? It's a common fruit. Beatrice. My parents were always eating apples and carrots. I guess they didn't like pears. Virgil. But pears are so good. I bet you there's a pear tree right around here. He looks about. Beatrice. Describe a pear for me. What is a pear like? Virgil, settling back. I can try. Let's see. To start with, a pear has an unusual shape. It's round and fat on the bottom, but tapered on top. Beatrice, like a gourd. Virgil, a gourd. You know gourds, but you don't know pears. How odd the things we know and don't. At any rate, no. A pear is smaller than an average gourd, and its shape is more pleasing to the eye. A pear becomes tapered in a symmetrical way, its upper half sitting straight and centered atop its lower half. Joke's on you guys, this is the Not Safe for Work channel. Virgil, well, a pear is not like that. A pear has no buttocks. Its bottom is round. Beatrice, so how does it stay up? Virgil, it doesn't. A pear either dangles from a tree or lies on its side. Beatrice, as clumsy as an egg. Virgil, there's something else about the bottom of a pear. Most pears do not have those vertical grooves that some apples have. Most pears have smooth, round, even bottoms. Beatrice, how enchanting. Virgil, it certainly is. Now let us move north past our fruity equator. Beatrice, I'm following you. Virgil, there comes this tapering I was telling you about. Beatrice, I can't quite see it. Does the fruit come to a point? Is it shaped like a cone? Virgil, no. Imagine the tip of a banana. Beatrice, which tip? Virgil, the end tip, the one you hold in your hand when you're eating one. Beatrice, what kind of banana? There are hundreds of varieties. Virgil, are there? Beatrice, yes. Some are small as fat fingers, others are real clubs, and their shapes vary too, as do their taste. Virgil, I mean the regular yellow ones that taste really good. Beatrice, the common banana, M. sapientum. Sorry if I said that wrong. You probably have the Gros Michel variety in mind. Virgil, I'm impressed. Beatrice, I know bananas. Virgil, better than a monkey. Take the end tip of a common banana then, and place it on top of an apple, taking into account the differences between apples and pears that I've just described. Beatrice, an interesting craft. Virgil, now make the lines smoother, gentler. Let the banana flare out in a friendly way as it merges into the apple. Can you see it? Beatrice, I believe I can. Virgil, one last detail. At the very top of this apple-banana composite, add a surprisingly tough stalk, a real tree trunk of a stalk. There you have an approximation of a pear. Beatrice, a pear sounds like a beautiful fruit. Virgil, it is. In color, commonly, a pear is yellow with black spots. Beatrice, like a banana again. Virgil, no, not at all. A pear isn't yellow in so bright, lusterless, and opaque a way. It's a paler, translucent yellow, moving towards beige, but not creamy, more watery, approaching the visual texture of a watercolor wash, and the spots are sometimes brown. Beatrice, how are the spots distributed? Virgil, not like the spots on a leopard. It's more a matter of areas of shadowing than of real spots, depending on the degree of maturity of the pear. By the way, a ripe pear bruises easily, so it must be handled with care. Beatrice, of course. Virgil, now the skin. It's a peculiar skin, the pear's. Hard to describe. We were speaking of apples and bananas. Beatrice, yes. Virgil, they have smooth, slippery skins. Beatrice, they sound of fingertips running over the skin of a dry pear. Beatrice, what? Virgil, it would sound like the diamond of a record player entering a groove. That same dancing crackle, like the burning of the driest, lightest kindling. Beatrice, a pear is surely the finest fruit in the world. Virgil, it is. It is. That's the skin of a pear for you. Beatrice, can one eat it? Virgil, of course. I don't know why Thursdays at 4 p.m. I don't know why Thursdays at 3 p.m. are so busy, but apparently they are. Really, they are super busy. Virgil, of course, we're not talking here of the waxy, thuggish skin of an orange. The skin of a pear is soft and yieldly. Fucking. Virgil, of course. Virgil, of course. We're not talking here of the waxy, thuggish skin of an orange. The skin of a pear is soft and yielding when ripe. Beatrice, and what does a pear taste like? Virgil, wait. You must smell it first. A ripe pear breathes a fragrance. Fragrance. Virgil, of course. Virgil, of course. We're not talking here of the waxy, thuggish skin of an orange. The skin of a pear is soft and yielding when ripe. Beatrice. And what does a pear... Fuck me. Oh, God. Virgil, of course. We're not talking here of the waxy, thuggish skin of an orange. The skin of a pear is soft and yielding when ripe. Beatrice, and what does a pear taste like? Virgil, wait. You must smell it first. A ripe pear breathes a fragrance that is watery and subtle, its power lying in the lightness of its impression upon the olfactory sense. Can you imagine the smell of nutmeg or cinnamon? Beatrice, I can. Virgil, the smell of a ripe pear has the same effect on the mind as these aromatic spices. The mind is arrested, spellbound, and 1,001 memories and associations are thrown up as the mind burrows deep to understand the allure of this beguiling smell, which it never comes to understand, by the way. Beatrice, but how does it taste? I can't wait any longer. Virgil, a ripe pear overflows with sweet juiciness. Beatrice, oh, that sounds good. Virgil, slice a pear and you will find that its flesh is incandescent white. It glows with inner light. Those who carry a knife and a pear are never afraid of the dark. Beatrice, I must have one. Virgil, the texture of a pear, its consistency, is yet another difficult matter to put into words. Some pears are a little crunchy. Beatrice, like an apple. Virgil, no, not at all like an apple. An apple resists being eaten. An apple is not eaten, it is conquered. The crunchiness of a pear is far more appealing. It is giving and fragile. To eat a pear is akin to kissing. Beatrice, oh my, it sounds so good. Virgil, the flesh of a pear can be slightly gritty, and yet it melts in the mouth. Beatrice, is such a thing possible? Virgil, with every pear, and that is only the look, the feel becomes a wholly engrossing activity. You want to do nothing else but eat your pear. You would rather sit than stand. You would rather be alone than in company. You would rather have silence than music. All your senses but taste fall inactive. You see nothing, you hear nothing, you feel nothing, or only as it helps you to appreciate the divine taste of your pear. Beatrice, but what does it actually taste like? Virgil, a pear tastes like... It tastes like... He struggles. He gives up with a shrug. I don't know. I can't put it into words. A pear tastes like itself. Beatrice, sadly. I wish you had a pear. Virgil, and if I had one, I would give it to you. Silence. So, that was a little brief snippet of Beatrice and Virgil. A very beautiful but haunting story about two friends, their games, and their story, as well as the writer's story. The writer in the book, not of the book, and the taxidermist who does writing himself. So, I hope that you enjoyed this little video. Tonight, I am playing D&D with some friends online. We use Discord and we set up our cameras, so I've been setting up my fancy camera. And we play, and we use map tools, and my husband is the DM. He spends many hours creating these very elaborate maps on map tools for us to use. So yeah, we play every Thursday. We used to play every Wednesday and Thursday, but life has just been a bit too busy. So I'm excited for that. But before we play, I must cook dinner. People up the stairs. Stop. And I also have to edit and post this video for you guys and cut out all those dang truck noises. Truck noises and stop noises from the staircase. But thank you so much for watching. I hope that you're enjoying I hope that you are enjoying what I've been posting here so far. Thank you so much for joining me over here. It is an absolute pleasure to have you here. Thank you so much. So I hope that you have a wonderful Thursday and that you have a